honestly, I think that 90% of people are single because they're not flirting with each other.
Yeah,
I really think that flirting has the potential to change the world. Hey, you guys. I'm Alessandra Conti.
And I'm Cristina Conti Pineda.
And today's video is how to flirt. So today we're going to really break down for you different tactical ways that you can flirt.
Yeah, and I'm just going to say a little disclaimer here because some people, the word flirt can be really annoying. I know for me it is.
Every single person has a different flirting style. So flirting is not one size fits all. And I think that maybe you're triggered by the word flirting because it immediately ignites that thought that, oh, you have to be, giggling and saying, ah,
right.
And that's so not you. And that's honestly so not a lot of people. That's kind of me. But that's kind of like my authentic personality. But I think for a majority of people, and also for different types of women and different types of men, flirting is going to feel different for you.
Right.
But you know when you're on, and you know when you're in that flirting mode.
Exactly. And you might also, flirting does have more of a feminine connotation. However, this video is for both men and women because both of us can flirt. Our first flirting tip is to tease.
Okay, so we want to make sure that you understand teasing, we don't mean bully your date,
Right.
but we're talking about teasing, making gentle jokes about the surrounding area and the environment and different things that are going on around you. So it's more teasing your environment and making gentle jokes about your environment, but also not being afraid to kind of to have fun with each other and tease each other. But so say you're on a date with somebody and a guy is like, oh yeah, he's talking and you see his big arms. You can be like, oh my gosh, are you in the gym at 24/7? You are your muscles are so big. So that is teasing. That's a good teasing. Bad teasing is being like, wow, you look like Hulk. That's your veins are popping out. It's so weird.
Right.
So if it's any level of negative, that's bad. That's not the type of teasing we're talking about.
Right. You do not
teasing, compliment teasing. Our second flirting tip is one word. Laugh. If somebody says a little awkward statement or says something that you thinking, oh, they're making they're teasing or they're being a little playful, laugh. Okay? When in doubt, laugh. That's where I think that's also though where the stereotype of the but
right.
really just be in the moment and really be with that person in that journey.
And enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
You might have to do things before the date to get yourself to be in that place, however, because sometimes you just don't feel like laughing and you're in a bad mood. You just ran straight from work. My recommendation would be take your time to get ready. You'll be listen to your favorite songs. You'll be a lot more ready and able and willing to laugh and enjoy
ready,
yourself.
willing, and able.
Than if you go straight from work and you're ticked off at something that just happened in the office that your boss said to you or some client said to you. So make sure you take that time and then you will be able to genuinely laugh, because another thing that's pretty annoying is when you're trying to force yourself to laugh, when it's just over and over and over again. So if you take your time beforehand to get ready, you won't have to pretend.
So we call this flipping your work switch off and flipping vacation mode on.
Yes.
So the whole goal before you enter into a date is to get into that mindset of, wow, when you go on a date, we want you to pretend as though you are on vacation, okay? We call this vacation dating. So literally, if you have to put your out of office away message on, you go for it. We once worked with a client. He was the top CEO of a Fortune 100 company. So cream of the crop, top man in the business world. And he literally, when he would go on dates, he would have to put his out of office away message on. And because initially when he was going on dates, he was like, Allie, I really want to disconnect, but it's so hard for me because I have people emailing me and I can't help but check my email and this and that. And I have to let them know, like, hey, I'm so sorry. I'm in a date. I'm in a meeting. Can I get back to you? So nip that in the bud and put your out of office on. Even if you're not the president of a Fortune 500 or the CEO of a Fortune 500 company, this still, you need to get out of that work mode and really make that transition into that relaxed vacation mode so that you can then go on your dates and be fun, tease, laugh, and do the other things we're about to tell you.
Flirting tip number 3, be playful.
So being playful, like at the core of anybody's flirting style and flirting persona this is the core of what flirting is. It is being playful. So I always like to tell men and women that we're date coaching and matchmaking that I want you to really get in touch with that inner child. Your inner child is he's there or she's there and she's just waiting to come out and play and have fun. And that's where playfulness comes from.
Right. And an example, a practical example of this, Alessandra loves this question. What is your favorite Spice Girl? Who is your favorite Power Ranger?
Yes.
What other Pokemon?
Ninja Turtle, Pokemon. Just think
Did you
back.
play? Look at your childhood.
Yes.
What did you play with? Did you have a collection of Pokemon cards?
We
did.
did.
You have the Gigapets? Or
we had
Furbies?
Snorlax was my favorite. I mean, I really related heavily to Snorlax.
It says a lot about your personality.
It really does. And it's just so much fun to connect with somebody on that level
Yes.
as opposed to, oh, so what is your degree in?
Right.
Oh, how long did you spend getting in your master's program? Like, no! Talk about your favorite Spice Girl. Talk about your favorite Pokemon.
And if you're totally different generations,
Yes.
then you can talk about things that are more current and topical.
Pertinent to your situation.
Right.
So think about the things that make you happy from your childhood, but really bring that into your different dates so that your conversation will just be fun and playful.
I love that.
Okay, so flirting tip number 4 is make eye contact.
And this doesn't mean staring the person down in a creepy, perverted stairway, as we like to call it.
Perverted stare.
But it means being attentive to the person, being a big spotlight and putting your focus and energy on that person, being animated when you look and you talk to this person. It means do not be looking around at all the other things that are happening or all the other people who are walking in.
We call it bobbleheading.
Right.
When you're like, oh,
wow, there's that model,
Yeah,
there's that celebrity.
Oh.
It's not just guys who do this. Even though men, it's best to sit the woman where you're facing the wall so you don't get distracted. Men have a much easier time getting distracted by the TVs and people walking in. Women are tend to be more focused, but still
women
ladies
are definitely just the superior sex in so many ways, and this is just another example of why we are. But yeah, so really, guys, you need to really focus because also I think it's so funny because I think that like men don't think that women notice when they like kind of casually glance over at the woman that we all notice just walked in. So you guys, you need to just really work on it.
That's
like
hard.
that, like, yes, even if you think you're getting away with like a glance, I'm here to tell you, you're not getting away, honey. So just focus on her, and we always say make her feel like she's the only one in the world, like the Rihanna song,
right? And
I wanna
make him feel like the only man in the world too. So you want to, both for women and for men, you do want to really just focus, and that's where the eye contact comes in.
Absolutely.
Flirting tip number 5, physical touch. And we are not talking about the just inappropriate touch.
Yes.
We're talking about things like a 3-second touch where you're having a
Consensual
conversation.
touching only. Consensual touching only.
And that means if you're having a conversation, she has her hand on the table, you put your hand down, or he has his hand on the table, you put your hand down, touch his hand for 3 seconds, and then lift it. That
3
is
seconds, you guys. On a first date, and especially during pandemic COVID times, you maybe want to like settle down a little bit on this. But 3-second touch is important. So you're telling him a story and you're like, oh my gosh. And then 1, 2, 3, put your hand up so they can see 1 and this 2, 3 happened. So 1, 2, 3 up happened, and it ignites, it breaks that physical barrier, and it ignites that kind of, what is it when they're kind of that caveman instinct that's like,
visceral.
Oh, she
it's
touched
a visceral.
She touched me.
And same thing with
I
women.
want her.
Nate.
Safe places of physical touch on a first and second date are for women. So guys, if you're going to do a 3-second touch on women, this only safe places for women is under the elbow of an arm and hand. Under the elbow of an arm and a hand.
You shouldn't try touching.
That was really offensive, Cristina.
I have flap too. We all do.
We all do.
Guys, don't try
I
to
won't
touch
in a
that.
couple years. Thank God, Beverly Hills Best. Thank you to Beverly Hills Best plastic surgeons. They will be removing it in a few years. But yeah, so for women, the safe for men, if you want to give the 3-second touch, literally this is the only place that's safe. If you are guiding them, say that the table's ready, you can put your hand upper back. You guys, not lower back.
Ooh.
Okay?
Unless it can be very creepy.
No, it can be very creepy, and especially during these times, during the Me Too movement, you can't venture below the what's this? The shoulder line.
Yeah.
Shoulder line, but if you want to
shoulder line.
guide them, then you can put your hand right here for 3 seconds to guide them to ignite that 3-second touch.
Right, that's
for
great.
women, women touching men, it is a little bit different, I'm not gonna lie, because men just are less, like, they're less sensitive to these things. Some men are, so sorry, it has to be consensual, obviously. If a guy is like, raise your hand to my leg, then remove it immediately. For women touching men, the full arm, yes. So for men, the full arm is a safe zone. Also, the knee. The knee is a really great place. Anywhere above the knee is it's bad news bears.
Yeah.
It's bad news bears. We're
knee
talking
below.
We need to the knee and below. Like, think about like Catholic school. Like, if the skirt was not at a certain level, it's the same thing with physical touch on a first date with men. Because if you go above the knee, things are gonna get a little too saucy for the first date.
Yes.
And we don't want that. We don't want to ignite too much passion and excitement. We want to keep it, though, knee and below. Okay?
I love it.
And for men and for women also, you can touch the back as well. It's a little less sensitive thing. Flirting tip number 6. Compliment them. You might think that this is obvious, but for women, ladies, let us let you in on a little secret. Men rarely get complimented. Okay? So whenever we do any speaking engagements, or I guess whenever I do any speaking engagements that are geared towards women and like teaching them how to date and flirt and all of that, I always ask the crowd, I say, where's a man in the room? There's usually one man in the room. He'll raise his hand. Great. And I say to him, I'm like, okay, when was the last time that you got a compliment? And the men will either say, they'll know exactly the date, the time, and the location of their last compliment. They say, it was 2 weeks ago, my boss told me that she liked my shoes. And they will know exactly when. Or they'll be like, honestly, I can't even remember because it's been a long time since I've been complimented. Those are the 2 answers that I get from men. When I ask women, ladies, when was the last time you were complimented? They're like, oh my God, like a minute ago, as I sat down, one of the girls here was like, oh, I really like your handbag. Where did you get it? It's so cute. So for women, that's the way that we interact. And like, we take it for granted because we get complimented all the time. Right. But for men, they don't hear this. So this is one of the magical, beautiful parts about men and women in a relationship. You can bring that that to their lives, that positive affirmation and those compliments to their lives. And ladies, I promise you, when you compliment a guy, they then think more highly of you. It's something that happens psychologically, but it works. And we always say, give one physical compliment. The second compliment that I want you to make sure that you are doing when you're going on dates is to give a character compliment.
And just men know when you meet in person, that's when you should compliment.
Yes.
Try not to compliment when you're on apps or online dating.
No.
Women get really freaked out by that. They feel objectified, and you don't want to go there. So just do it when you're in person. Tip number 7, express excitement. This is hugely important because very often during the day we are on our phones or on our computers, and we do not have to show enthusiasm in our faces. I always tell our bachelors and bachelorettes to let Alessandra be your guide. Alessandra be your model.
So when I was in cheerleading, when I was younger, these are called facials. Okay, so they would say, facials, girls, facials. So it would be like, ooh, nee, ah. Like anybody that's ever done cheerleading before knows what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's so important. Like in the active listening.
Right, and you want to use these different facial expressions as well as your voice and the volume, the tone, the tempo. Slow things down a little bit.
Slow down.
Speed it up.
Speed it up.
You want to keep your audience engaged, so I want you to unleash your inner actor or actress that's always wanted the spotlight and use that inner actor and actress on your date. So you're unleashing your inner child. When you're flirting, you're unleashing your inner actor or actress, but you're not faking anything.
You're not faking.
Expressing enthusiasm and excitement. This is especially important for people who tend to be a little more reserved. Sometimes people will think, oh, I don't want to seem like I'm too into him or too into her. No. If you're pursuing that person and if you're calling him the next day, texting him the next day, that's too much.
That's too much.
But if you show enthusiasm on
during your dates,
you have to. Otherwise, he will not think you're interested in him and he will not ask you out again.
So our final flirting tip is number 8. When in doubt, smile. You guys, this is the most basic and most simple one, but truly a smiling face when you're on a date is just everything. And that is a form of flirting when you're smiling. And it's so funny because even if you're like, this works as a flirting technique if you're on a date or even if you're just passing an attractive person walking down the street, literally just smiling at them. And especially, and now that everybody wears masks, but let's do a smize. Okay, so this is me. This is Cristina, cover your lower mouth. Cover your lower mouth. Okay, so now smile. And now frown. Now be bland. You guys, do you see? Those are very distinct. Mm-hmm. So we need to unleash our inner Tyra Banks and smaz.
First dates require heroic courage sometimes. And if you can help it make it a little easier for the other person, that's being a gracious person, that's being a happy person, that's being a godly person.
And that's being a flirtatious person.
Oh. So thank
you. You go flirt, okay?
Thank you so much for listening to our tips. We hope that they are helpful for you.
I mean, I know they are. Even if you do one of these, like if you have not been doing any of these, introduce one of these into your next date, into the very next date, or even the very next interaction with your significant other. Because a lot of times when you're in a relationship, that doesn't mean that you stop flirting. Right. You have to keep flirting. And it's not for the other person, it's for you. Because you want to have fun. You want to be playful. You want to enjoy. You want to laugh. These are all stress releasers. And it all helps that attraction to keep it building, keep it growing, and keep it locked.
Exactly. It's even for married couples. So if you're married and listening, you can use these too.
Keep flirting.
Yes.
Only with your spouse, though.
Right. Of course.
Not let's not get it twisted. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to subscribe below. Actually, do subscribe below. And tell your friends, share it with your friends that need some flirting tips. Because honestly, I think that 90% of people are single because they're not flirting with each other.
Yeah,
I really think that flirting has the potential to change the world.
I think that's a good point, Alessandra.
That is the hill that I will die on. Thanks, you guys.
Bye.